Sounds like a nice week.
Yeah, it is.
I like the way that I wasn't. I like the way I wasn't a part of it.
Say it again.
You heard me.
But it sounds like a nice week. Just accept that you could have. You realize by the end of the week, you say, I could have avoided all of this.
And hello again, dear sweet souls, listeners, dreamers, Shemin and Mondi.
Yep.
And it's another week at Awaken to Joy. How has your week been? Our week's been all right. I'm not going to lie to you.
What is that? You asking me or asking yourself?
I'll ask you, go on. I know. Let's not pretend.
No, but...
Unless there's something you want to tell me.
Nah, nothing.
All right, great.
No, it's been a great week, actually. Quite a lot of revelation.
Go on.
Yeah.
See, I knew it.
Revelation this week.
I think you hold things back from me now just because we have a show, so then you can reveal them on the show and I can be all surprised.
Listen. It's the effect of surprise, you know?
Go on.
Surprising effect.
Go on, it's spicy. I like it.
Revelation this week. Chasing unwanted energies. I realized that when you mean to do it, or like when you feel you've got a bit of a like, somehow you have some maybe thought that don't belongs to you, or you're vibrating lower than usual. It's just like a conscious decisions where you say to yourself, that is not me. What's going on? And you look around maybe what you've allowed to penetrate you perimeter, your
energetic space,
space, and then you realize like how efficient it is and how you can be like we can be just uplifted. So that is what my week was about.
So what uplifted you this week?
Just the idea that I was in control. So if I feel a certain way, that's because I was allowed it to be, unknowingly sometimes. And then that I'm totally in control to decide, that's it. Like, I don't want to feel that way.
So the same way you allowed it, you can be like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why, so different things and paying attention to signs as well, certain signs.
Like what?
Like you guides trying to communicate with you, spirits trying to talk to you repeatedly about certain things and letting you know things and, bring things to your attention.
Sounds like a nice week.
Yeah, it is.
I like the way that I wasn't. I like the way I wasn't a part of it.
Say it again.
You heard me.
But it sounds like a nice week. Just accept that you could have. You realize by the end of the week, you say, I could have avoided all of this. Simply like just by being more in your alignment in your space. You got this heart space where you just feel warm and you kind of like look after yourself by only look into things you love to do, or only positive things. And I realized as well on my timeline, the thing I was consuming wasn't so positive. And it's not that I choose them, it's just the way sometimes the algorithm seems to just bring things onto your timeline. It's like I didn't go deliberately, but then it was there, so I clicked about what's going on in the news and I was like, what am I doing? Like,
in the understanding that like we are the ultimate technology and that technology only does for us what we can already do for ourselves, but of like lost abilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, the universe being a magnifier, like it's like a reflector and a magnifier. So reflects back what's going on inside and magnifies it and then kind of sends it out to you. A bit like it's the original algorithm, right?
Absolutely.
So what was actually been put onto your timeline, so to speak, isn't it funny how Facebook, all those places, like all of like social media, all of like those like outputs and all of those outlets kind of run off the same technology that the universe runs on, as like algorithms. And like if you look at one thing and then dare you press like,
oh my,
or interact or dislike, not that I press dislike.
And you know what, when I say negative, it wasn't even like negative as thinking about yourself, but if you watch some things of sort of like news related things, so to speak, that
like things that would allow you to
more drama based things, it's like it will attract certain things in your space that aren't usually there, feelings and the way you feel about yourself. You start questioning certain things. You may start questioning things and like, wow, I don't even question this. What's going on? And then if you look really like around you, what you do, like maybe what's changed,
yeah, you
realize, this is what I don't usually watch, or this is it's amazing.
Yeah, it's I remember when I kind of found out that like the world reflects what's so within, as within, so without. Yeah. Like whatever's going on the inside will be reflected on the outside.
Yes.
Magnified and then momentum added. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you slow down the momentum then? So say you're having a so-called bad week, or what you perceive to be a week that you don't prefer, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you slow down those events, those circumstances, events, people? How do you slow that down? Like things going, how do you slow down situations reoccurring? Because after a while, if you keep on feeding into it, it builds momentum. That's just the way it works, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you slow down the momentum?
I would say for me, as far as what works.
I know how I do. I just wanted to know what you did, because it sounds like you turned it around.
I take responsibility for the way I feel. So I'm like, I respond positively to the way I feel. So I mean, when I take responsibility, not you must take responsibility because it's all your fault. Not that. I respond positively to the way I feel. I say, okay, I'm feeling this way. I don't prefer it. So already I know it's not of God. It's not divine. It's nothing to see. So I don't recognize it as mine. I just take responsibility that this is here and it makes me feel that way. And I want it to change. Therefore, I have the power to change it. And then I say to myself, okay, so what has brought that now?
Yeah.
What's different between this week and last week? And I usually look at what I've changed. Maybe things have changed or things I took on. So I'll give you an example. A lot of things in this world, to my knowledge, or a mass consciousness event. So if...
Like what?
What's going on in the news? I don't even want to say names, but let's say if you've got people having enough of some things, it will produce an energy of that, maybe being fed up about things. It will have this momentum that's created, and that will lead to certain mass events. So it could be lawsuits of certain people going on all at the same time. It could be
certain systems crumbling,
right? It could be floods. It could be anything that is out of your control. And I've learned, and I've learned that to be responsible about these things is often not to hang on to it and not to be too involved in it, but recognize it as such. They're not yours. They're not anybody's. It's just theirs, and it's an energy.
Well, they're everybody's.
That's been created there. They're everybody's.
At one point, I guess they've put in like at least a penny coin of energy into it.
Yeah, it is not yours. Once you've, it's like, okay, do you know what it is? It's like a transmitter, an emitter and transmitter. So if I just send a signal, my message was my message. I sent it. It's sent now.
Yeah.
It's not me. I don't have it in control. No, it's sent. It's like sending an SMS.
Yeah.
Like a text message. You didn't want to send it, but it's sent now. You don't have control of it.
Yeah.
So
it's done.
Yeah, it's done. So stop hanging on to it like it's yours.
Yeah.
So it's out of your control. Don't try to control it. Try to embrace it for what it is.
Yeah.
forgive yourself if you have to,
Yeah.
and then move on. And the thing is, and you know what's funny is because now, I don't know if you noticed, I mean, it's been there for a while. So if you have sent a message and you never meant to send that text message, you have, say, a few seconds to delete it. So you can actually delete it.
Yeah.
Right? But what that means is at some point, some people were fed up about it enough. And they said, let me create something about it. The idea was produced, the energy of that was produced in the ether. So people can pick up on it and be like, yeah, we need to change that. So someone developed the idea.
So it gained momentum.
Yeah, it gained momentum enough so someone had the idea and changed that. Say, you know what, let's put the option to delete an unwanted message.
Yeah.
Or at least give it 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be created. And what I'm saying is that's why you can't hang on to these things because they're there for a reason. So I'm saying that sometimes, like you say, on your timeline, through social media, something might come up. You can watch it. But you have to know that when you watch it, you don't involve your energy whatsoever. Some of this stuff, what I've seen on the news, kind of like...
Well, you don't really watch the news, but you've seen as in like... I know what news you're talking about. You're talking about... What's it called again? Current events.
Current events and stuff like that. So you watch these things and then... let's say what you're seeing is like you suffer in the past... at the end of someone, they've done something to you, and then they come up on the news that now someone's done something against that person and stuff like that. It's not for you to get involved in it. You can recognize it, you can see it, you know what's going on, but often what you will do is go back to your memory in a time. So you send yourself back to that time and remember
and
how
send
you
your
felt
energy back, re-put in that energy.
Your body doesn't know any difference. So then what you do, you send into your body all of these emotions and
make your body relive
you might
it.
trap some of that in you rather than not involving yourself.
And relive it, and then that energy
that's
is
how
there,
the energy as well you can get involved into it. And to learn how to look at some things from a neutral place where you don't get involved like that. Or if you get involved, you like stop it. You can say to yourself, oh, no, that's it. So what I would do practically, I'll watch something else that I love.
Okay.
I would just, or do something I love instead. So I'll take my mind off of it.
Yeah.
Even if it gives me pleasure because it's like justice. Oh, I'm like, yes, good.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to indulge in that.
Because you know it's not real pleasure.
No, and it's like, it's very momentary, but then it brings on other stuff. And that works also for family members that you don't really want around you or you're not really happy with, and you hear something about them, don't indulge yourself in it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
So that's what I would say I deal with it. How about you? How do you deal with these?
I go and try and do happy things. I know it seems like really simple, but anything was like the next best happy thing I can do. And I don't mean it as in happy. I mean it as in like, what is... happy.
Oh, that's what's the difference. What's that?
Happy. It's like...
Oh my God. Tell me.
I'm happy. Happy is like...
What's this happy? What's it? What is it? You gotta tell me, what is it? Go on, what is it? What's this? Happy.
It's like this faux happy. It's like I'm saying I'm happy because I'm happy, but I'm not actually feeling the vibration of it. I'm just doing it. I'm like personifying it, but I'm not actually enjoying myself. Like going and doing stuff that other people would find a happy thing to do. Not the thing yeah. Like if someone said to you, oh, you know, why don't you go for a walk or go for a walk? If you don't like walking, then you're going to just be out there miserable. I'm saying whatever, like, personally with me, it's like, firstly, get alone, be alone. Be alone. Number one. Because I know that that's the space where I take in less influence. Bless my children. Love them. I don't need you in my space when mummy's going through her things. Because 9 times out of 10, I will find something that you're annoying me about. Real talk. I think yesterday I went through that and there was a fly in the room. Okay, so then hear this momentum, yeah?
Oh my. Go on.
And it all started because, honestly, I wasn't talking really kind to myself when it was about stuff to do with work. That's what it was. I was overthinking something I was overthinking, it's not really work, but you know what I mean, for lack of a better word. I was overthinking something when we were creating stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
And I got up, instead of being like loving with myself and like a bit more compassionate, I was a bit like, I was meanie, yeah? About the fact that I'm perfectionist. Well, I was being perfectionist at that time. And then I was like, when I left, I was frustrated because then a few technical things started going wrong. I was like, and then it took some time. And then I saw the time and I was like, wow, I'm hungry. You know what? Okay. And I was like, okay, all right. Okay, no, you know, intermittent fasting. Yeah, and then, okay. And then I was like, you know what? Went upstairs. On the way there, who caught me? Baby. Needed to be fed. He literally looked like and was sounding like what I felt like inside. But he's baby. All right, come along for the ride, innit?
Yeah.
Who knows how it's going to end? Okay, it was like that. But then when I got upstairs, there was a fly in the room. It's not summer here. It's a random ass, dirty ass fly just in the room. So you can imagine, I'm building momentum at this point, right?
Yeah, and you don't like the flies like that, to say.
Do you know what the fly went and did? Buzzed around the room for a bit and went and sat on my towel. I said... Couldn't make it up, I swear to you. Yeah.
The environment of so okay. So that being said, can you say that there was an example where you were not responsible with it, like you didn't?
No, I just let it happen, and it just rolled. It just the momentum. I don't know why I don't have tissues. Here we go. Hang on a minute.
No, this is the other eye.
Okay. Thumbnail. No, I'm joking.
You have to have the round mouth.
You're right, I do.
You know, you have to do. You know.
You're right, I do.
More, like, you know.
Yeah, that's the best I can do. So yeah, I momentum built up. So then another child walks in and I'm like, hiya, nicely. Hiya, do you mind to help me with this fly? I can't get to it right now because I'm breastfeeding, isn't it? I can't get to it right now. Do you mind to like get it out or whatever? And they told me no. One of them escapes. One child heard me. One child heard me, but through their fear of flies, just ignored me. Like you could never be talking to me, Mum, because you know I don't like flies. So boom, ignored. And then the second one just told me, I don't feel nicely, you know. I don't feel like killing flies today, so I won't be.
That's actually sweet, though.
And then just left the room.
You won't
with the fly.
A fly murderer again today.
With the fly just sitting there on my towel, my face towel. So, in that moment, I checked it. I said, hang on a minute. You're telling me lies. Okay, Matrix. This is the biggest lie I've ever been told. This is back-to-back fuckery. What's going on? Okay. And I was like, oh, yeah. You were just talking shit about yourself, and now literally you got a shit fucking fly coming and sitting on your fucking face.
Yeah.
Well, what did you do? What came out your face that was shitty? The way you spoke to yourself.
So how did you deal with it? Like, how did you come out with that?
I literally just I turned on the most happiest playlist I could find, and I'm talking like high level. I'm talking high level happy music. Music I used to listen to when I was 5 years old, to get into it.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And I just played it, and I was playing it, and then the baby stopped breastfeeding, and then he was giggling, and then I was giggling, and then I laughed. I said, listen, you're a joker. And then I said, you know what? Now you're free. You could get up and swat this fly and run around. So I made a game of it, swatted the fly. Couldn't find him. He went. I lost, but he wasn't there anymore, that's for sure. I shoot him out somewhere. And then before I knew it, something great popped up on my timeline. I was like, ooh, and then...
You got excited again.
And then I just rolled out of it. Yeah. I literally just went into park, looked back, reversed the hell out of the feelings, and then went the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, if it's difficult sometimes, just be neutral. Try to be neutral about everything. And trying. It's okay to say I don't have an opinion on that.
I even went downstairs, like, because you don't understand, like, when I heard the no about the fly. When I'm breastfeeding, I can't do it. I can't. Could you help me, please? I even said, please. It was met by no thank you. I came downstairs. I was like, you know what? I respect the fact you didn't want to kill anything, but you didn't even try to catch it or swat it or move it out of move it off my towel. You just left it there and just left me there, well and knowing I couldn't do it. But in all due respects, I get the fact that you didn't want to do it. I just felt like it could have been more helpful in the moment. And she was like, you know what? I could have been. I just honestly didn't feel like betraying myself in the moment. And I was like, I respect that. That conversation would never have happened in the state I was in.
It's okay to admit that.
However, it did once I got lit. I was just like, okay. Okay, magic.
Oh, man. Okay.
It was that. So I was just like, had to reverse out of it because I was like, I can't sleep on this. God knows what the morning will bring.
No.
I can't sleep. Could
you? I believe that certain entities you attract to yourself just like indulge in these feelings you may have, and then you it looks like you're indulging yourself in there, or self-pity or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just don't make you happy. It doesn't rise. It doesn't raise your vibration
at all.
And that's just it's not good. It's not a good way to trying to come out of it by indulging in it.
No. So I just like left it at that, and then I was like, okay, what's the next best thing? I was like, I'll eat something nice, and then I was like, okay, what's the next thing? And then I think I put on a nice candle. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh, well, this room could do with a little bit of a de-childing, tidying up. And then I just did that. This was like... And then the thing is, when I walked into the room, it was like child messy. And I was like... So it was like another thing as well. So you see what I'm saying? But there was all... it was like layering, and I saw the momentum building up, and I was just like... Might trick me once.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
You know what? We all have days like that.
Yeah. And I was just like, all right, don't overthink it. And I just backed on out of it. But on second thoughts, it was to do with the fact that I was like, if I look at it like with a little bit more compassion, it was just PTSD. You know, something happens in the past and situations look the same, and you think it's the same thing again.
But that's also why you have to, I believe, respond to it positively, because saying, like, that's the issue about PTSD. It's something happened in the past. Number one, when you say that, now it looks the same, there we go again. you kind of like not taking responsibility for in the past where you were you didn't have the ability, you didn't have the knowledge or enough knowledge. Had you had more knowledge, you wouldn't let that happen,
or you wouldn't have reacted in that way.
You wouldn't react in that way.
Yeah.
Once that happened, there's no need to have the PTSD, because you know that who you were 5 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever, or even yesterday, you're not the same person. Every second, you're not the same person.
Yeah.
So you're truly giving yourself a chance for evolutions to grow, and I think when you take responsibility in that way, without the blame, you're giving yourself a chance to expand.
Yeah, most definitely.
So there's no, but obviously you can get caught up sometimes.
As I did.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
I was giggling like, honestly, all of that happened and rolled out within 15 minutes. Like, because it's mad, because he didn't even stay on for long. Like, it just all happened within, like, by the time I checked it and then got out of it, within 15 minutes I was fine.
That's pretty...
Like, totally fine.
It's pretty responsive. It's good.
Will do.
You know what? I didn't mean to talk about this today. Just started talking about this.
It is what it is.
It's what it is. Shall we carry on, or do you want to talk about something else?
I was actually gonna talk to you about a rabbit hole I went down this week. Okay.
All
right.
What's it about?
Ley lines. All right, I'm putting it out there. Ley lines.
Oh, I'm going to ask you questions then.
Go.
Because you're bringing this out.
Big rabbit hole, big time.
What are ley lines?
Okay. From my understanding, this is how it went. You know, I love everything to do with like Merlin and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was looking at stuff to do with like England, Stonehenge, stuff like that. Because, I was like, we're in England. We were previously in France. We're in England now. All right, fine, cool. Like, what's so magical? These people be like, people who are into Merlin be like, England's magical. I'm like, easy. Easy. I was born here. There's any magic. Okay. But they were like, yeah. So I said, you know what, Shem? Don't be that person. Look into it. Went down the biggest Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole, to the point where I had to hold, like, I was like, okay, notebook came out. I had papers everywhere. All right, so ley lines are supposed to be energetic lines that run throughout the world.
Yeah.
That they've known about for millennia. Okay. And those particular lines in the earth have frequencies that allow for transportation, transmutation, like they hold certain energies there. There's certain energy portals there, stuff like that. And I was like, okay. So England is considered to be a place where they have lots of those things happening. I was like, is it though? It is. So found a map. I got notes. Let me get out some of my notes. Let me blow your mind a little bit. Maybe you're not going to be interested.
Can I ask a few questions before that then, yeah?
Go for it.
Before we get into we dwell into it.
Yeah.
All right. You know me, and you know I believe in these things, yeah?
Yes.
But at the same time,
yeah.
Okay, this is still maybe I can say for the larger public, general public, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
A theory.
Yeah, for real, because it's
so-called unproven theory. The only reason I'm saying this is not because I believe it is. It's just because some people believe it is. So what I'm saying is, starting from that point, yeah, you're
So you're coming in as a skeptic.
Yeah. Well,
you have to hold in mind when this thing came to me, like when this thing was like ley lines, and it wasn't even. It was like Stonehenge. It was like it was like in like a regular sentence. Yeah, Stonehenge believed to be on. It was like believed to be on ley lines. And I was like, I've heard that word before.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
And I thought that had something to do with navigation.
Well,
and like the world navigation and lines. I am no geographer. Like
yeah. No, I get it.
But you get what I'm saying. I thought it had to do with like more nautical stuff.
Okay. So then, what could you say that makes it truth? Is there anything you've noticed personally?
This is what I went for. I went on the hunt to disprove this. So understand, I went down this rabbit hole with 100% belief that it had something to do with nautical stuff that was beyond my understanding, but had nothing to do with me. I was just like, What's this ley line thing? It's come up so many times, like ley line. What is it? And then they're saying like it's more energetic fields. And I was like, energetic fields. And then I remembered when I was really, like, I was like maybe 5. And I think it was like the first time I went on to a plane.
Right.
And somebody in the airport was talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, we've heard about that.
And I turned around and I asked my mum, what is the Bermuda Triangle? She was like, do not talk about the Bermuda Triangle when we're about to go on the plane. We're not going anywhere near it. Don't worry. We won't get sucked into whatever people believe it is. And I was like...
Sucked in?
Sucked in.
Oh, my.
Sucked into. So with that in mind...
Wow, yeah.
I was like, I've always thought about it. And then I remember my parents having a friend from Bermuda, and I was like, yeah, like the Bermuda Triangle. It's stuff that I've mentioned and kind of thought about. But yeah, you know, the place where all the ships and the planes go missing and yada, yada, yada. But that is as far as my nautical / ley line / anything to do with that type of thing knowledge went.
Right, yeah.
Something I overheard when I was 5.
Yeah.
Okay. At an airport. Randomly. Also, okay. I thought, okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm here, I'm looking up ley lines. Firstly, not easy to find on the internet. Not on my internet, that's all I'm saying. Okay?
Yeah.
However, there was a map. This map was made by this dude that I can't pull up his name, but do I really... if you care, you'll find his name. Anyway, there's a couple of them. There's about 3 dudes from the 18th century, late 18th century, early 19th century, who kind of started looking at these lines that run through the earth and make certain crossings across the country of England. These people looked at England specifically. So there was a map first with England, yeah? So I'm looking at this map, and the reason why Stonehenge is so, prolific, why people kind of are taken to it, is because these ley lines make a crossing and meet at the point of Stonehenge. And I remember hearing from somebody who is a Maui shaman that he'd gone there because he opens portals and shuts portals like all the time stuff. And okay. Stonehenge is like a huge portal. And I was like...
Can we explain about the opening and shutting of portals? I mean, I know what it is, but...
I was watching Erin Lyons, and she had Hannah Flash on her show, and he was talking about the fact that, he goes to portals, they do, open up portals, do what they need to do with the portals then. Yeah? And I was like, and Stonehenge had come up as one of those portals that are in England.
But does it look like what you would see in The Avenger? I've had to.
For somebody,
I have to ask.
For somebody who I can't answer that straight up yet, because I'm going to then, doesn't matter, put a pin in that.
Well, put a pin. All right, I'll put a pin in that.
Pin, yeah?
Yeah.
So, I might forget about said pin, but I'm sure you won't. Anyway,
No, I won't.
yeah. So, I'm seeing, so I'm seeing all these lines. So when I'm zooming in on some of these lines, they've all got different names, like St. Michael's or, I don't know, like they've got different names, Avebury or just... And I'm like, okay. So he saw these lines and noticed that certain religious places were built on top of these ley lines. So famous churches, famous abbeys, famous geological places in and around England that people gravitate towards are built on these ley lines. Yeah? And apparently they're like the gatekeepers of some of these portals, or tried to be. Or they tried to cipher off certain amount of the energies from these ley lines.
Right.
And or use the portal for, accessing the portals and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, all right then. Well, yeah. Well, listen, I do believe in mermaids, so who am I to say portals ain't portaling out here?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, all right then. So I started seeing where these ley lines go. And then I saw one of the ley lines and I was like, okay. So I tried to look up some maps. Found one random ass website, yeah? But this person had gone into detail and not only mapped out the ley lines in England, but mapped out the ley lines across the globe. Turns out they call it like different ley lines are called different things, but there's one that's called like the Great Circles, and that's where you'll find the Pyramid of Giza there, you will find Vatican there, you will find certain things share the same ley line where they've built them over the years. Cleopatra's Needle, all of these things, they're all put at certain ley lines.
Right.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Arc de Triomphe, La Défense, all of these places. And you're like, okay, La Louvre, all of these places. And I'm like, peculiar.
Yeah,
so I said,
I get it.
What's this got to do with me? And then I noticed, well, there seems to be one shooting. We've just moved. Hold in mind, previously coming from emergency accommodation, yeah?
Right, yeah.
So when they place you, you're just placed. You're happy to be placed. You're happy to be out the system of the homelessness thing, yeah?
Yeah.
So we were placed somewhere we've never been. And apparently the guy who said that he found this place for us, he'd never heard of this place. Mind you, I'm born and raised here. I've never heard of this place before. And I noticed that one of the ley lines kind of runs in the area of where we are. Just like the area, like. And I was like, okay. But what this website does is allows you to type in different postcodes or addresses and see where the ley lines are. So you put the ley lines up, they come up, and then you see like what's on those ley lines. Okay? So this is where my mind started to go a little bit. I type in where we are now. Yeah? And then I notice that down the road from us, and I don't mean down the road as in like 20 miles down the road. I'm talking at the end of our street. I'm talking at the end of our street. A ley line runs. I said, that's funny. It's my mind. That's funny. Okay. Well, all right. You know. And remember, I was telling you energetically, I felt like we were placed in certain emergency places because they moved us around a lot. Random, seemingly random places.
Yeah.
Last place called the World's End.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, no, we're here to secure the grid of some sort. So I went and I checked on it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Aren't we where we were before?
Yeah.
We're on a ley line.
Not surprised, but yeah.
Like on the ley line.
Yeah, because
not even.
It felt really very bit weird.
It felt like we were in. When people say, "Oh yeah, you feel like you're in the twilight zone," it was that vibe.
So okay, then I've got a question then surrounding that information. What would be what does it mean to be on a ley line or near a ley line? What does it mean for you? I mean, for your life, like what was going on?
That is the biggest.
What is it for?
That is the biggest question I have, because then as my mind started to go down more the rabbit hole, I said to myself, well, yeah, so what? You're in two places. You were previously on a ley line. Now you're still on a ley line. So what? The other day went for a walk. Yeah. I think we were on our way to the park, but me and Grace, we like left off to the other side, yeah.
Right.
And we went past this massive church. We were like, oh my gosh, let's go in. Well, and knowing you lot are waiting for us, but just went in anyway. It was like we were pulled there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we went in and I can't tell you how much, and you know we're not church religious, but there's something about that church. When we went in there, it is like, it's breathtaking, okay? The architecture, the feeling there's something there. And we looked at each other, we were like, whoa, let's go and sit down and light a candle and just have a little quick silent thought to ourselves and then leave, yeah?
Yeah.
It's just like, let's just take this in. Found out that church is on the ley line. Smack bang in the middle of the ley line. I said, all right, fine. But that don't mean nothing. This is me, but that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, I get it.
So, though we were in where we were previously, I was pregnant. And where we were about to have our child, we moved hospital because some things kept on popping up and we followed our intuition. We said, we're moving hospital.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And the hospital we ended up being was someone far out in the sticks.
But it was strong intuition.
But yeah, it was, everything was saying, you can't have the baby here. You can't have the baby here. Move hospital, move hospital, move hospital. Things like randomly started just going left. And we were like, leave this, do not come back to this hospital. It was like that. And I was like, follow your intuition.
We did.
So the hospital randomly, seemingly where our son was born, it's on a ley line.